like that one. Welcome again. My name is Beau Flasher. Got the wings going. And this is a video series inspired by a book, A Way Unseen, which you can get at awayunseen.com. I wrote a book. It was really inspired by an event where I sliced open my wrist. I'm a piano player, and I cut 4 tendons in my wrist, and it changed my life. And I began to see myself in many areas that I wasn't seen before. And now I look back on that, and I can see similar patterns in others around me. And so this video series is really to bring out the elements in the book, A Way Unseen, which it's available for PDF download, awayunseen.com and beauflasher.com. And I found that these videos are actually kind of fun to do, and they're more digestible for people. I believe people respond more to seeing somebody talk about their experience and some of the big concepts and things they learned, as opposed to just looking in a book and reading it on a piece of paper. There are a lot of concepts in the book, and they get much more in depth than we have a chance to do, or I have a chance to do on these video recordings. So today we're going to talk about control. Control is the essence of the mind, and service to self is the essence of control. I didn't understand levels of control until I began to observe myself and the way in which I controlled my reality. We control our reality through different means, right? A primary way in which we control our reality is with our minds. Our minds, right, are within our head. It surrounds our brain. It's sort of like a coating on this density, right? You can't. I'm sure science has tried to find the mind, right? You can't actually physically grab the mind, but it's there, and it has the ability to project thought within someone's head and control their reality. And if you're wondering about the ability to see the mind, or the where you believe the mind to be, I'll actually do a video on different elements you can study to show that the mind exists. But for now, we're going to look at control. And the main way in which the mind controls one's reality is through the eyes. The eyes represent control, right? Everything we see goes directly into our brain and is immediately processed. Not only what you see, but different areas of what you see. Like a painting, you're able to apply focus to different areas. So again, I referenced the movie Inside Out. We have memories that we have the ability to consciously go back and view, and we can remember elements of each memory, each experience, the good, the bad, even defining it as good and bad. We have the ability to consciously apply focus in areas that help us see ourselves and understand why our reality looks the way it does and why we make the choices we make. So, control is the mind and the way in which it controls one's reality. In other words, if you have a good example, it's again centered around your primary fears. If an event or an experience affects you in a way in which affects your primary fears, you will most likely, I don't know anyone who doesn't do this, you will most likely control that event, so much so that it's very difficult for you to see yourself. So I'll use myself as an example. I'm affected by the way in which others view me, how they see me, things they say to me, my actions, how they're perceived. So let's say I'm at work and I do a project and it doesn't, right? I don't nail it, right? I get close, but maybe someone has an observation or they're critical of something I did. It affects me. So let's say I don't turn a paper in on time, and they're not able to write their report, and they come back to me and say, well, that's got to be there, and my mind will control that experience. So this is the way in which the mind will control. It will apply every single angle. Well, I could have done this. Well, if I just would have done this, well, it's really not my fault. The mind controls an experience. We feel as though we're better able to understand ourselves by controlling an experience or controlling the thought forms and feelings from an event within the mind, within the program of the mind. Remember, the mind is spawned from a moment of trauma, and the mind itself allows us to process thought. It's like you're using a different lens. Your reality can be seen many ways, just like an experience. You can shift an experience, like in a painting, to see different areas, applying focus. So we feel as though, everyone I know, including myself, I try and not be in the mind all the time. We feel as though the mind gives us the best opportunity to survive and control our reality, right? But there are other ways to project thought. We can shift the lens from our eyes, pass focus out of our eyes. I talked about this in an earlier video, how to subdue thought within the head, right? To literally not have thought. Okay, we can actually shift the focus to our hearts. We can find ourselves in the arms of others, right? That allows us to release control. We can feel emotions, allow us to literally shoot up chemicals into the area that the mind controls to affect how we feel and how we are able to control thought. And it's very, very wild concepts that I don't feel are readily available. You know, when you're born, as you go through school, they don't give you an instruction manual on the body. You're programmed. You're like highly programmed. And not only are you programmed to not do all that stuff, like understand the mind and control and your eyes and how to apply focus, okay, your emotions. Not only are you not told about that, you're told the opposite. You're told the opposite. Just go. Don't stop. The harder you work, the better it is. Don't worry if emotions come out, squash them back down. You need to just put it in your mind and control something and just grab it, and then you're good to go. I mean, talk about a reality that we're all creating within the mind. If you don't believe me, just look around you. It's a reality created within the mind. It's a service to self. Yes, there's a survival element to our experience here, right? As humans on this planet, there is a survival element, but there's a lot of wiggle room there. It's not just, I'm getting all political here, but it's not just me. Service to self is a choice. Okay, it is a choice to project through the mind. These video series, each one of these videos may help you simply choose, or not simply, choose how in which you would like to create your reality. I've found that using the mind to control every single event and micro-analyze and project thoughts and replay, and if I would have said that, and if she said that, right? The mind is very good at that, and it will really keep you from the primary area, which is your primary fears. The mind is simply designed to keep you from feeling areas that are too painful for us to feel, and we choose not to. So we choose to control it. So when I say we control an event or control an experience, I'm referring to projecting a reality through the lens within the mind. So we're controlling it. Okay, so that's a little dip into control. It's a way to express a reality through the mind. Yes, you may choose the mind, but be aware of the agenda. Be aware of your mind's ability to control and what thought forms it uses to control your focus. You designed it, right? You designed your mind. There is something that can outsmart you, and that's you. You outsmart yourself so as not to feel areas that are very painful. Okay. Well, that felt pretty good. All right, I'm going to try and exercise some lack of control with music. I feel as though it helps me escape the mind. Thank you for joining me again. This has been my take on control and the mind's ability to use control to control our reality. Okay, thanks for joining me.